Hi, this is Rob Polinick from C3 Method. I did a leg workout today featuring some overload techniques that I thought would be fun to share. My goal today was actually my posterior chain, kind of the back side of my lower body. So I did calves, hamstrings, and glutes. That was a change from my typical plan. I was planning to drive to another gym and be able to use some pieces I don't have here at home, and that would have been more of a quad focus. We had some changes in our schedule, so I need to do that another day. I'm either going to do that tomorrow or Friday. So today I was still kind of in the rhythm to do legs. And since that workout would be more quad focused, I figured I would stay with my schedule, do legs, but focus on the back side of the legs. So I started with calf raises. I use our Magnum Hack Squat to do basically machine calf raises. I really like it. It locks your body in place. It gets a really good isolation and then overload into the calves. So my overload technique today was actually to use my hands. As my calves fatigued, I would pull a little bit with my hands to help assist on the way up, and then I was trying to kind of let go of some of that tension on the way down so I could still kind of magnify the intensity of the eccentric, which is when the working muscle is extending under weight load. That's when we accrue a lot of damage. And of the phases of a muscular contraction, we have the concentric phase, which is when a working muscle is shortening, it's contracting. So if you think of a bicep curl, the concentric would be when I'm contracting. The eccentric is when the muscle is extending. The extension phase, the eccentric phase, is actually stronger than our concentric phase. So I can assist the concentric and then let go of some of the assistance to still maximally work the eccentric. I really like that. That was fun, absolutely miserable. So anytime I use, and you'll see this in the sets, total number of sets I do in the workout, anytime I use an overload technique, I have increased the intensity in the working sets that I'm doing. So I therefore then reduce the total number of working sets. I typically like to train what I would consider high volume, which is 3 to 4 and sometimes even more working sets on a movement. I like kind of getting into the groove of a movement, feeling the mind-muscle connection and really kind of beating that muscle down. I don't like wasting a lot of time switching between movements and trying to kind of fine-tune another movement and then change the equipment, load the plates, do all these things. So I usually don't use a lot of exercises, and I usually do a lot of sets per exercise. When I'm doing an overload technique or an intensity technique, I will break away from that and I'll reduce the total number of working sets. And that's because each working set is now accruing more damage than a traditional straight set. Therefore, I don't need as many sets. So I did 2 sets like that, and with the hand assist overload, freaking awesome, loved it, felt great. I then moved on to machine lying leg curls, and my overload technique for that was to do partials, but not full lengthened partials. I actually tried to do the partials at the top end of the motion. This was just a little bit of a change of pace. I will sometimes do full lengthened partials, and there's research and studies that say full lengthened partials are more effective, blah, 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 blah. If the muscle is miserable and mad and it hurt, but in a good way, it's gonna respond with growth. The goal is just every time we go into the gym, do something that's a little bit beyond our current capacity to push the body to continue to develop. It is helpful if you're new to that to get a regiment to it and have like pre-programmed ideas of how to do that, how to track that over time. I've been lifting since I was 16 years old. I'm 41, so I've been doing it for 25 years. I have a pretty good idea of what intensity I'm supposed to feel. I also started lifting at 165 pounds with a higher body fat percentage I have than I have now, and I'm 256 pounds of this morning. So I'm, whatever that is, 90-ish pounds heavier in muscle, and I'm a lower body fat percentage. So I've done a pretty good job over 25 years, gained almost 100 pounds, almost a whole nother human. So pretty good there. Now, I will at times track what I do in a journal because I want to push a concept and try to learn it. But a lot of times I go by feel. However, that took 25 years to develop, so I wouldn't suggest that if somebody's newer in lifting. I would definitely write down what you're doing and have a regimented program to everything. But For me, by having a little bit of freedom in what I do, I can choose between like a lengthened partial or a shortened partial or hand assist rather than partials. I can kind of play around a lot, and I really enjoy that. I like to share that ability for variety with my clients, so I track their progressions and I track the overload stimuluses for them. But it's nice because it allows them like a new program every 4 weeks. They get to try new concepts, new movements, new fun things every 4 weeks rather than having to stay with the same stuff for 8, 12, 16, or even longer weeks. So I like that. A lot of my clients really like that. A lot of learning. Over half my clients are personal trainers, so they love learning different theories and strategies and things. So that's the way I do it. So you can pick whatever you like and whatever you connect with, but that's my style. So I really like that for the lying leg curls. I was doing around 10 to 14 reps of normal range of motion. And then I was adding, I didn't really count. It was somewhere around like say 3 to 6 of the top partials. And the same thing with the calf raises. It was 3 to 6 of the hand assist, somewhere in there. Then moved on to our Nautilus glute drive, which is a machine version of a hip thrust. And for that one, I was doing pauses on my normal repetitions. So I'd get to the top and kind of have an isometric hold. And then whenever I wanted to do my intensity overload, I got rid of that pause and actually only kind of used the top portion of the movement as well. So again, it was partials, and that worked really well. So for those 3 movements, I did some kind of intensifier, and by doing the intensifier, I needed less total working sets. So I only did 2 working sets for all 3 of those. I then went on to doing like an RDL variation. I have what's called a Rogue Seal Row Bar, S-E-A-L, Seal Row Bar, and it has a bend in the middle of it, which I like doing RDLs with because you can kind of angle that bend a little bit away from you, and it keeps your hands a little closer to the body, and it reduces some lower back stress, and I actually better feel it in my upper hamstring connection and lower glutes. So I really like that bar for that purpose, even though that's not what it's made for. And then I have Mutant Metal snapback rollers for my J-cups. So you'll see in the setup that I can just pick the bar up and go. So I get to start from the top, which is a little bit safer than starting from the bottom. And it does allow for a little bit more control over maximal weight load. You can kind of push the edges a little bit more safely than starting from the floor. And I like it because it's just super efficient. It makes it easy to load plates, so you can be lazy while you're trying to kill yourself. But it was a really good way to finish. For that one, I didn't do an intensifier. At that point, I've already pre-fatigued every single muscle involved in an RDL. I don't really need an intensifier. So I just did straight sets. So I did 4 sets of 8 to 12 reps. And you'll notice in my notes, I mentioned staying at an 8 RPE. RPE is rate of perceived exertion. So how intense did the movement feel? This is a term that people will more commonly use in powerlifting than bodybuilding, but it's a great concept for bodybuilding, so I use it all the time. An 8 RPE is kind of on the upper end of intensity. So when we use an RPE scale in weightlifting, 5 to 10 is usually the range people will refer to. 5 is I'm moving, but it's not hard at all. 6 and 7 is I'm moving, I'm starting to get a little bit of a burn, but it's not challenging my ability to maintain technique. It's an intense warm-up is kind of what it feels like. 8 is, okay, this is hard, but at no point do I feel like I'm gonna lose technique. It's hard, but I'm safe, I'm dialed in, it's well controlled. 9, I'm starting to lose technique proficiency. It's really freaking hard, so I'm getting a little bit out of position here or there. 10 is the best I could possibly freaking do. I'm risking getting hurt, and I'm just kind of going all out. We do not want to do a 10. We don't even want to do a 9 when we're at the end of the workout, and especially on a movement that we've already pre-fatigued with intensifiers. So on that RDL, I would stay at an 8, meaning it's hard, but you don't have any doubt that you can do it with good, solid technique. You're going to find if you try this workout that you're more fatigued than you would even realize by the time you get to the RDLs, and you're going to be more sore than you would even realize after the RDLs are done, like the next day or even that night, depending on when you do your workout. So you don't need a maximal intensity on that final movement, considering it's a compound movement, it's working multiple muscles, and it's working all the muscles we've already pre-exhausted. So that's why I ended with just straight sets, no intensifier, and I made that notation to do an 8 RPE to make sure that you stay controlled and stay safe given the condition you're going to be in at that movement. So that was the workout I did. I thought it would be super fun to share some of the intensifiers and share how I'll modify my workouts based on chaotic schedule from time to time and things kind of change. So this is a great way to still push progress, have fun the whole time, learn new things, all the good stuff that we hope we can get when we're working out. If you have any questions, if you need anything, just let me know in the comments section below. If you try the workout, I hope you enjoy it, and thank you for watching.